If you had a Adsense account that was banned and you believe that you were unjustly accused of causing that ban, you need to listen to the information that I'm about to present to you. The information comes from a letter that claims to be from an individual that was a former Google employee, and they outline in great detail the policies and procedures that were put in place that, in my opinion, are unethical and criminal. I was affected by these policies and procedures and can show a loss. If you are in the same situation, I would appreciate if you could send this video to your lawyer and encourage them to contact me, and let's discuss a class action lawsuit to get our money back that we've earned and Google has stolen from us. So with that being said, I'll begin and I'll read this letter from this former Google employee. I'm writing this to leak information to the public of what I witnessed and took part in while being an employee. My position was to deal with Adsense accounts, more specifically the accounts of publishers, not advertisers. I was an employee at Google for a period of several years in this capacity. Having signed many documents such as NDAs and non-competes, there are many repercussions for me, especially in the form of legal retribution from Google. But I have carefully planned this leak to coincide with certain factors in Google, such as waiting for appropriate employee turnaround so that my identity could not be discovered. To sum it up for everyone, I took part in what I and many others would consider theft of money from the publishers by Google and from direct orders of management. There were many Adsense employees involved, and it spanned many years. And I hear it's still happening today, except on a much wider scale. No one on the outside knows it. If they did, the FBI and possibly the IRS would immediately launch an investigation, because what they're doing is so inherently illegal, and they're flying completely under the radar. It began in 2009. Everything was perfectly fine prior to 2009, and in fact it couldn't be more perfect from an Adsense employee's perspective. But something changed. Google bans and ban criteria before December 2012. In the first quarter of 2009, there was a, quote, sit down, end quote, from the Adsense division higher-ups to talk about new emerging issues and the roles we, the employees and the Adsense division, needed to play. It was a very long meeting, and it was very detailed and intense. What it boiled down to was that Google had suffered some very serious losses in the financial department several months earlier. They kept saying how we, quote, needed to tighten our belts, end quote, and they didn't want it to come from the Google employees' pockets. So they were going to, in their words, quote, carry out extreme quality control on Adsense publishers, end quote. When one of my fellow coworkers asked what they meant by that, their response was that Adsense itself hands out too many checks each month to publishers, and that the checks were too large and needed to end right away. Many of the employees were not pleased about this, like myself, but they were successful in scaring the rest into thinking it would be their jobs and their money that would be on the line if they didn't participate. The meeting left many confused as to how this was going to happen. What did they mean by extreme quality control? A few other smaller meetings occurred with certain key people in Adsense division that featured the idea and procedures they planned on implementing. There were lots of rumors and quiet talking amongst the employees. There was a lot of speculations, Some came true, but some didn't. But the word was that they planned on cutting off large portions of the publisher's payments. After that point, there was a running gag amongst fellow coworkers. We would walk by each other in the hallway and whisper, "Don't be evil," and roll our eyes. What happened afterwards became much worse. Their, quote, quality control, end quote, came into full effect. Managers pushed for wide-scale account bans, and the first batch of bans happened in March of 2009. The main reason, the publishers were making too much money. But something quite devious happened. We were told to begin banning accounts that were close to their payout periods, which is why account bans never occurred immediately after a payout. The purpose was to get the money owed to the publishers back to Google's AdSense, while having already served up the ads to the public. This way the advertisers couldn't claim we didn't do our part in delivering the